Hi guys, how you doing? I thought I would offer up one more update. This might be the last update on the Studio Scale Narcissus. If you haven't seen my other couple updates, I review the other parts that have been made for this, the nozzles, the details that go on the back, the inset for the nozzles. What else did I do? Basic cleanup. Since you guys have seen this last, I filled in that detail pit that used to be an inset pit. So I have filled it in, and now it's way more accurate with a raised detail. So that involved taping up the sides, Bondo, sanding, filling in any of the pits, making it nice and smooth, 3D printing the detail part. I've got an entire video on doing that, my workflow for doing the details on that. So that's all in place, finished, primered, polished. Since you've seen this last, this has been repaneled. This spine here, completely repaneled. And the rear wedge started out as a mock-up, just a real quick styrene mock-up. I 3D modeled a new wedge. This is the FDM print of that. That's part of my design flow, is I 3D model a part, I'll FDM print it just to make sure the measurements are correct, make any adjustments, do it again. Then when I'm finally happy with how everything is fitting, I will resin print it, and here is the resin print of that. It hasn't been cleaned up yet. I still have my drain holes on the sides to fill up. But that is your new wedge piece for the rear. One of the last big things I need to do is panel this. This, again, I 3D modeled this. Way more accurate dimensions. So that will be cleaned up a little bit more. Old school styrene paneled. There will be separate parts in the kit. Fluted tubes that slide in here. Here's a quick look at the underside. I've got this 3D printed detail piece in place on both sides. This will be populated with a bunch of resin 3D printed parts, but not a whole lot to do on this underside. This is mostly finished. That's all been repaneled. That's all been repaneled. This entire X-coordinate spine has been repaneled. Here's your first look at the final pass detail greeblies. Spent about a week 3D modeling these guys, and it's funny, when you're modeling these, the detail is so big that you feel like you're making big cities. I know I've mentioned this in the past before, but then when you get the final print, final piece to put on, it's just this little, tiny little piece. Detail chips completely changing the face of this upper hull. This little guy here is going to sit at that crest. All of this new detail. This isn't all of it. This is just some of it. I'm just kind of getting an idea here for placement, but you can see I kind of went full bore on the detail for the top. Alright then, let's go for it and glue on these greeblies. I've got most of the greeblies in place. I've got some of this extra strip styrene on both sides. You know, I've got to give a shout out to Andy Preston's videos. He's been building a Studio Scale Narcissus. Extremely amazing. So his reference shots and his techniques have been really helpful. And also, I think Mark Inkland did a lot of research on the ship, and these guys have found amazing reference shots and built amazing models. So that's been a big inspiration for this. So that's all ready to primer. We've got detailed chips here. I've got details on these panels on the engines, and I am ready to primer again. Here we go. And boy, we are getting really super close to being able to mold this, finally. It's been a long time. There's still a few more things to do. Before I close this video out, I wanted to show the nose cone. This is version 5 of this nose, and it's various pieces. I haven't decided yet quite how I'm going to mold this. I've got a top detail that fits in here. But before I do that, check out, this is versions 1, 2, 3, 4, finally 5. Had to make slight adjustments, variations. I kept decreasing the size. Gosh, it was just a lot of work to get this freaking nose done. But check it out. These are 2 of the donor kits I used for this nose. The 223 Panzerwagen, the 232 8-rad. This piece here is from the 8-rad chassis. We've got a couple extra greeblies that are put on there. This guy came from the 223 Panzerwagen. Das ist ein guten Kit. Ich liebe es. So guten gemacht. This 3D print lives here. And finally, the 8-rad piece lives here. These inserts just slide right into place. You can light them from behind. But boy, check that guy out. So I've got all of these greeblies in place. The last step will be old school styrene plating the surfaces on this nose. And these will likely be molded separately, these 3 guys, because the detail on them is just really, really fine. And I kind of want to mold them vertically. So this is all styrene plated. And that's the last piece, besides a few more little parts on the inset pit, on the underhull. So we are closely approaching the day where these will be molded. I appreciate your viewership. Make sure to hit like and subscribe, and I will catch you in the next video.